How will Unai Emery set up Arsenal for the 2019-20 season? I'm Statman Dave, welcome to the Squawka YouTube channel. If this is your kind of content, hit like and subscribe for plenty more wonderful football videos. Anyway, let's dive in. So Arsenal finished last season set up with a 3-4-1-2. Their Europa League campaign started to gain momentum when they switched to this system, either using Ozil as a number 10 or, away from home, Aaron Ramsey as a number 10, with Unai Emery focusing on attacking down the flanks with the likes of Maitland-Niles and Kolasinac in the final third. Interestingly, for this system, of course, it got the best out of Aubameyang and Lacazette. In their last two games in the semi-final against the likes of Valencia, they were directly involved in 9 goals between them. Incredible stats there in terms of their relationship. What you'd expect from Lacazette is dropping off the ball and Aubameyang making those runs in behind, of course, being fed by either Ramsey or the guy that we spoke about before, of course, Ozil, who will be a key component for Arsenal going into the new season, considering that he's left the club. One player out, of course, Ramsey. Koscielny looks like he's going to join Rennes as well, but the rest of the team will be there next season. But anyway, we spoke about the players that are moving out. We spoke about tactically how Arsenal set up last season. They did spend a lot of different times in different shapes and systems. The diamond, the 4-3-3, the 3-5-2, the 4-4-2, all types of shapes, but they finished playing this system. But how will they set up with their new players next season? First up though, we're going to talk about those new guys and how they're going to adapt to life at Arsenal. So it's time to talk about the transfers, the exciting side. First up, let's go for the guys that have been signed. The first guy that could be coming into Arsenal's 4-2-3-1, the shape that I expect Emery to play last season. That was his shape at Sevilla. That's the shape that he's played in pre-season. It looked really, really good. In terms of the overall tactical setup, we'll talk about that after we speak about the transfers. First up, of course, Ceballos coming in from Real Madrid on a loan deal. The loan deal is apparently worth around £15 million. In terms of what he is as a player, he's similar to Luka Modric. Pretty much a very two-way midfielder. Will drive into the attacking area and get on the ball, but also drop back. Bit of a roaming playmaker. Ceballos will be involved in moves at the base of midfield, but also he'll be in the final third looking to combine with Ozil. The interesting side with Ceballos, and of course a manager like Unai Emery, is that he can position him in different positions based on the game state. You know, whether they do want to bring Granit Xhaka in for the bigger games and take out Ozil and play Ceballos as a floating number 10 like he did for the under-21 Spanish team, that's what they could do. Similar to how either Banega was used by Emery at Sevilla or even Rakitic. Look in the bigger games where Arsenal want to play on the counter-attack, bring in more a defensive-minded midfielder to sit at the base and allow Ceballos to play, to combine with the forwards, to operate wherever he wants. That's the big thing with him. He does drift around the pitch. He's a player that moves a lot and loves a bit of a battle. You think in the North London derby, someone like Dani Deballos is going to be perfect. Think Luka Modric in the back end of the Champions League that Real Madrid winning time and time again. The performances of Luka Modric against Atletico Madrid when Real were under pressure. He'd receive the ball, he'd turn out, he'd win tackles. It's very similar to Daniele Ceballos. But for this, we're going to put Ozil back in, and this is a little bit more of the creative Arsenal team that we are going to be seeing. So we'll throw Ozil back into number 10. So let's move on to another guy that will be playing for Arsenal next season, of course. Really interesting signing, came out of the blue. Arsenal claiming they only had £45 million to spend, even though they've spent around £80 million in instalments for the main man from Lille, and that is Nicolas Pepe. Nicolas Pepe was one of only 2 players in Europe's top 5 leagues to score 20 goals and get 10 plus assists. What a talent he is. In terms of his playing style, he's very much of an inside forward, like someone like Mohamed Salah. Loves to run on the last line, getting in behind. Of course, that is going to be massive for Ozil. You think of the last time that Ozil had a wide forward that made runs in behind consistently was Cristiano Ronaldo. The first season that those two played together, they got a massive amount of assists. That season in La Liga in the 2010-11 season, Ozil assisted Ronaldo a whopping 11 times. Not only was he these through balls in behind the defence like he could do with Nicolas Pepe, but as well with that, it was arriving at the back post, something that Pepe does as well. When the attack develops down the left-hand side of the pitch for Lille, Pepe will look for that position, arriving late at the back stick, and that is why he scored so many goals for, of course, the Ligue 1 side. Pepe will add a lot of dynamism to Arsenal's attack. You're thinking now Ozil has 3 players ahead of him capable of him threading them through. Like if Aubameyang makes a very aggressive runs into the penalty area, same with Pepe. The interesting side with Lacazette, again, a very two-way player. He could spin in behind, but also he could drop off and allow Ozil to make that movement in behind. This front four has the potential to be frightening at Arsenal next season. But of course, Arsenal, one of the big things they needed to improve was their defence, so let's talk about that right now. A player coming in from Scotland could be Kieran Tierney. Kolasinac is a wonderful player, but maybe not good enough defensively in a back four, whereas Tierney has flourished for Celtic under Brendan Rodgers. In terms of Tierney, he's pretty much a bit of an old school winger in the final third. He likes to drive wide, he likes to get into the final third. Of course, with Aubameyang moving onto that central area, it will allow Tierney to provide himself on the overlap. Great width in the final third. What Arsenal need and what Emery need is fullbacks attacking, and that's what Tierney can do. Over the last 4 full seasons, Kieran Tierney's been directly involved in a goal every 3 games and can provide great outlet on that left-hand side for Arsenal. So on to the last 2 recruits that Arsenal have brought in this summer. First up, we've got to talk about Gabriel Martinelli. The Brazilian centre-forward looks like he's got the potential to be the real deal and could be an absolute steal for Arsenal. In the Brazilian league last season, at the age of just 17 years old, he was directly involved in 0.5 goals per game, a cracking record for a talented forward. But of course, it'll take him a bit of time to get into the Arsenal first team, considering the firepower they've got with Lacazette and Aubameyang, and of course Nicolas Pepe on that right wing. But let's talk about centre-backs. Arsenal have signed William Saliba from Etienne. William Saliba is a fantastic player, would slot in at centre-half for Arsenal, maybe instead of Socrates when he's getting a little bit older. There'll be a loan spell, we'll go back to Etienne. In terms of a player, he looks very, very similar to Rafa Varane when you watch him. He defends the channels exceedingly well, something that you want in a modern-day centre-back. In terms of stats, he won 80% of his tackles in Ligue 1 last season, showing how good he is as a defender. Goes out there, wins the ball, and then plays forward. Quite classy in possession as well. If he gets pressed, he's not afraid to dribble the ball out of defence. A classic French centre-back. How many good French centre-backs are there right now? Get into the comments below. Young players, the likes of Upamecano, Kanat, they've got the lot at the moment, France, haven't they? But anyway, guys, we've spoken about Arsenal's transfers and guys that could come into the club. Now, let's talk about how they set up on the football pitch. So how will Arsenal line up in the 2019-20 Premier League season? Well, something that we mentioned before already in this video is reverting to that back four and attacking with fullbacks. Expect Maitland-Niles to start off the campaign at right back and Tierney, if signed from Celtic, at left back. With Bellerin coming in as he returns for fitness, Bellerin was brilliant last season. In terms of what we mentioned before, Emery heavily relies on fullbacks in the final third. He expects his inside forwards to move inside and allow that space on the overlap before looking for those cutbacks. And that is going to be key for Arsenal. If they're going to break teams down that sit deep when they come to the Emirates, their 2 fullbacks are going to be vitally important. And expect, when Hector Bellerin does return from injury, to have a really good this season. His decision-making massively improved under Unai Emery, because Unai Emery has a style in the final third. They get the ball, they look for cutbacks, they look for low crosses, and that has really helped out Bellerin in terms of his output. Expect both Tierney and Bellerin to maybe hit over 10 assists in all competitions next season. But anyway, let's move on to more exciting areas. Of course, we mentioned Ceballos in central midfield and how, if Arsenal want to take the initiative in games, that you could play 2 playmakers. You have Ceballos playing as that roaming playmaker, dropping deep and then getting into the final third, and Ozil providing the passes for that front 3. That's going to be really, really good for beating teams that sit deep in a lower block. You think big teams now need to be able to get over that sort of, the likes of Burnley, the likes of teams that come and they sit, they're aggressive, they hit the channels. Playing 2 playmakers in that midfield area with the pace of the front 3 and the attacking fullbacks is going to be vitally important for Arsenal. Expect Ozil to get back to his best at number 10 with the support of someone deeper to feed him in between the lines. Something that Ceballos was very, very good at the Under-21 Championships. Not only did he win the most tackles, most key passes, goals, assists, a lot, but he was really good at breaking the lines. And that pass into Ozil's feet could feed the front 3 on the counter-attack. Very, very good when you've scored a goal against those weaker teams, the low blocks, and then you break in behind them. Alternatively, what we mentioned before as well, Emery could slightly tweak it and go with 2 destroyers and Ceballos at number 10. A ball winner sitting at the base, another ball winner supporting as well. Very interesting stuff there. And another thing that we mentioned before, Arsenal's front 3 is going to be lightning fast on the break. Expect Arsenal to be carving opponents apart. What you could expect from this this sort of setup is Lacazette to drop to a deeper position, and arguably the two players that are highest up the pitch, the left winger and the right winger, Nicolas Pepe and Aubameyang, on the counter-attack. That could be frightening. Arsenal sit deep, draw teams onto them, and then explode in the final third. It's going to be a very exciting season for Arsenal, considering the business they've done so far. But anyway, guys, that's my thoughts on Arsenal. Make sure, of course, to subscribe if you are new to the Squawka YouTube channel. Like that goddamn video. Get into the comments below as well. We had that question as well. Which is the best young French centre-back at the moment? Anyway, I've been Statman Dave. See you later.